if I'm prepared.
50. Welcome, everybody. We got 50 subs. Woo! Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it. I'm probably said this several times as people may or may not jump on. But we're so thankful, guys, that y'all take your time and watch us. And, yeah, we wanted to come and, hang out with you extra time today. So even Lewis got in extra. So pretty sweet.
Hey man, milestones are important to mark. So.
There you go. There you go. So, no, but we're really appreciative. We're such a small channel, but we appreciate all of you for coming on and enjoying comic books and other nerdy things that like we do. So, anyways, but yeah. So. Before we get started, I was waiting to show Lewis these live. I got Lewis some stuff, so I was at the comic book store this week, and they had like 3 comics that I was interested in, or in my pull list. So I was like, oh.
Which, if you guys have been watching the videos, is a slow week for Jonathan.
Right. Hey, someone's watching. Welcome. And so, like I said. It was a light week, and so usually when that happens, I buy other stuff that I may have been eyeing for a while, or whatnot. So I got some awesome things, and so the first, well, it's really just a couple. I found some Green Arrows, or Green Arrow stuff from, it was Dixon, I think.
Nice.
So there was a few that I didn't have in the hundreds that he had. So there was a few, he had like about 15 that he hadn't even marked up yet. And I was like, are those for sale? He's like, yeah, I just hadn't marked them up. I was like, awesome. I'm going to peruse through these. And so.
He give you a good deal?
I don't know what he charged me, to be honest. I didn't ask. I just bought them.
That's how you know you're serious about your collection.
I just bought them.
I'll take these. Don't even tell me how much. Just ring it up.
Well, some of the others had been like $2 each.
Okay.
So I was like, if I were buying like a whole bunch of them, like at a place or like a Comic-Con, I'd want them like 50 cents, but
right.
Maybe $1 each. But since I'm only grabbing a few, and I don't mind paying a couple dollars for them. It's fairly good. So, but
and they were Ollie, right?
Huh?
Were they the Ollie ones or Connor?
Ollie or I think they were all Connor. The ones that I got, like they were high hundreds. So.
Oh, I see you have some early '90s stuff there.
Yeah.
I saw the KO on the back.
Yeah.
So yep, and I recognize that from some Flash comics.
So this is what I found in the dollar bin.
Really? So, excellent. That's a pretty good issue. What else you got there?
Well, it's issue 70, 71, 72, and 73.
Okay, so you have to get 74 and 75 because that ends the story
Does it?
Of this Destiny's Hand thing. Don't you? Hold on. Go back to that last cover.
Yeah, I was going to go back to this. This is an awesome cover.
Is that not beautiful? That's Dan Jurgens right there.
Is it?
He's writing and drawing that. All those issues.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Did he do the Death of Superman?
He did, yes. He actually, he was the artist on the actual Death of Superman issue.
Yeah.
So, starting at issue, I think it was number 60, he did it until 78.
Yeah.
Or something, and at the same time he was writing Superman because Superman was going to be in the Justice League and be the leader of the Justice League America group, and then after he died, somebody takes his place. And if you're going to read it, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but
yeah. Well, I'm going to read these at least.
Yeah.
So
I
assume it's not on this cover. I noticed that Flash was in a black suit this time. Was that Wally?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to ruin the story for you.
Okay.
You'll have to read it. It's one of my favorites, though.
Yeah.
Actually, my first issue of Justice League that I ever bought was number 74, which has
in that series.
Yeah, so it's part 3 of that 4-part story that starts in that issue you had just there.
Huh.
It's really good. It was. I really think you'll appreciate the story. And I don't want to say any more because I've told you about it at least once, and I don't want to give anything away because it's just really good.
Well, I bought you a present. I found this in the dollar bin. I was like, yeah.
Excellent, dude. That's great.
Also, Jurgens. Didn't even realize that I bought a whole bunch of Dan Jurgens. I knew that one was Dan Jurgens.
Yeah. So he's going to be doing Nightwing soon.
Jurgens is?
Yes.
Guess I'm going to be back on Nightwing then. You had said somebody was.
I worry he's still going to be Rick Grayson for a bit, but with Jurgens taking over, I think that could be a good series to follow.
Yeah.
So there'll be a guy who bridges the gap.
I'm just going to be calling him Dick Grayson. There's Lobdell is writing it now.
No, he's off the book.
Well, he was on the last couple issues that I saw in the store.
Oh, right, yeah, he's credited or whatever, yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I saw this. It was, I keep hitting my cord. And I was like, oh, Lewis would enjoy that. He's read it.
For $1. No, that was a good issue.
I already had to read it, but...
Yeah.
So, you're welcome.
Hey, for $1, I ain't going to turn that down.
Anyways, I'm going to try not to hit my cord this time. Hey, somebody else is on. Welcome. Thanks for watching. We're... thanks, Stanzier. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, ask him what he thought of Aquaman, if he ever got to see it.
Okay, well, you just asked him, so...
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. This whole internet thing is new to me.
What do you think of Aquaman?
Well, he told us he was going to catch it around New Year's, and we never heard anything back about it, so I didn't know if he saw it and liked it or thought it was the worst thing ever. So.
Oh, man.
But,
he said he loved it. He had a few beefs, though.
Okay.
So, I'm curious what that is.
Yeah, me too.
We're ready to argue again. No, I'm kidding. I had said the only thing I had a problem with was CGI. And there was just a couple places that it was bad. Everything else was great. A plus film. A plus.
I felt like the comedy was...
Oh, somebody else is on. Welcome.
In line with the characters, though.
Yeah. But, anyway, so we wanted to talk about, and feel free to ask any questions, and we will try to answer them as well, so don't feel like you're interrupting our conversation. But, hey, Adrian, I'm doing pretty well. I actually know this guy in life. Good to see you, man. But we wanted to talk about some 50th anniversary issues, because Lewis knows pretty much everything there is to know about them all.
No, I don't. I have a handful or so that I think it's fitting. It's 50 subscribers. It's Friday, so it's our Friday 50, right?
Yeah.
But I won't talk about 50 comics. I'm just gonna we'll just banter back and forth about the significance of a couple of issues numbered 50, things of that nature. Some good ones that I would tell you to pick up that you can probably
hold on before you jump in all that. He said he's not sure how he feels about the character swearing and cursing in Aquaman.
Who was that?
Danzier. Aquaman.
Oh, that's
swearing
interesting.
And cursing. I don't know. I didn't even pay attention to it. Honestly, I kind of tune out when most people curse because it's so common these days. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of stuff they could cut out of movies like that. But I know some people enjoy it. I just kind of blank it out. That's how I watch Deadpool. I just ignore it. It's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're going to watch that movie, you kind of have to. Otherwise, you're not going to watch that movie.
He gets drunk and stuff in the bar, too. Yeah. I mean, he was definitely going for a different version of Aquaman, but I mean, I guess I could see, like, there's such a, like, stigma or stereotype of sailors and cursing and drinking, and so I could kind of see that they were going for that.
But he didn't get drunk in the bar.
No, he didn't. He was
because he's driving home.
That's right.
But
he probably has a higher tolerance.
Well, the joke is you know when you're drinking like a fish, right? Like so, it's just like a silly joke.
I have never heard that joke.
You've never heard that?
No, I don't hang out in bars and stuff. Oh, I'm just joking.
I left that part of my life behind me. Thank you. I'm just saying. There's a colloquialism that basically you drink like a fish, you know, because a fish is always in water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could never be overhydrated, so to speak.
So he's saying he feels like it made the character more like the actor more than the actor more like the character. I can see that. And I think I was watching somebody, I don't remember who it was a while back, they were talking about how they really made Aquaman kind of like the bro. Like he was kind of just this, you know, bro kind of feeling, and it I would say that doesn't work except for if you've ever seen the Brave and the Bold, Batman the Brave and the Bold TV series. That's totally Aquaman in that. That's totally his character, and I mean it's Jason Momoa that's exactly his personality. So I figured we'd probably get a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like they played to his strengths as a individual.
Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it.
In some ways, I totally see it as a new reimagining of the character, but it didn't bother me in the sense that he wasn't raised in Atlantis, right? He was raised on land. In most ways, he's normal, right? But he has these powers, and so he uses them.
Yeah.
But he tries to lay low, like he's not trying to be in the spotlight, even though he ends up in the spotlight, right?
Well, and I talk about the CGI, but honestly, that's usually the last thing that I ever complain about. Because I don't care. Like, as long as it generally looks okay. Like, I didn't complain about CGI in Justice League because there's a whole bunch of other stupid things to complain about in Justice League.
And if you focus on the CGI, you'll be there for a while.
Right. So, you know, CGI really doesn't bother me at all. It's something that I would complain about only if there's really nothing else to complain about. So that's really where I am with Aquaman. If I'm complaining about CGI, unless it's overly terrible, that's probably
right. Like it's from beginning to end, it's
I don't usually care.
Yeah.
But which of the DC New Age heroes, Sideways, Immortal Men, Terrifics, will show up regularly in the weekly issues? So I think a lot of them got canceled, actually.
Yeah, they're down. Yeah.
Terrifics is amazing. If you're not watching Terrifics, you need to be. It's terrific. Sideways is
$2.99. It's $2.99.
That's right. Well, at least it is for now.
Right.
Everything else has gone up. So, Sideways is the one that really just shocked me. I was not looking forward to it, and then when I read it, actually what happened is I skipped the first issue, and then I heard how amazing it was, so I went and hunted down the first issue, got it, and I was blown away. It's so good.
Wait,
excellent.
You're telling me DC's take on Spider?
Sorry, I'm talking about Silencer. Silencer is excellent. Sideways is great too.
Okay, I was just gonna make a joke. You're telling me DC's version of Spider-Man is amazing?
Yeah, Sideways is basically so it's weird. Like you had Damage, which is basically the Hulk. You had Sideways, which was basically Spider-Man. You had the Terrifics, which was basically Fantastic Four. So you had DC ripping off on Marvel, and they did it better than Marvel was doing it at the time. It's amazing. It's great. So I love the only ones I didn't care for, and this is just me because I know a lot of people. Well, I don't know a lot, but I've heard of a lot of people who like them, like Brimstone. I heard people like that. I didn't care for it. and there's other things like that. I have not seen Doom Patrol. Sorry, I'm trying to keep
It came out, didn't it?
with all these.
You're good.
Always something. Yeah, but I didn't care for the Immortal Men, mostly because they focused, I thought, on the wrong characters. The ones that I was interested in, they barely, like, I don't know. It just didn't move me. Maybe other people enjoyed it more. The Unexpected was unexpectedly good. That was one I was like, okay, this might be good. But I was disappointed, and spoiler alert, they killed off the characters I was interested in the first issue. And then they were on the cover for like 7 issues. I was like, why are they still in the concept art? Like, they're not even around. I don't know.
Maybe they were planning to bring them back, and then they got canceled.
I was like, the characters I'm interested in, you kill off, and they're on the cover in the first issue, and then I don't know. Whatever. DC does what DC does, but anyways, unfortunately, a lot of those have been canceled. I'm sure that they'll keep them around now because a lot of them were really big. I'm sure the price had something to do with it, but
yeah.
Anyways, but we haven't done, we haven't seen Doom Patrol, Denzier, and I've talked a little bit about it.
Truthfully, I'm not that interested.
I'm interested.
They have a great cast.
I don't understand why Cyborg is in it. Why does he keep showing up in everything that he's not supposed to be in, but they can't put him in the thing that he's supposed to be in, aka Titans? It's ridiculous.
Unless this results in him moving over there, I don't know how it's going to be positively.
I was hoping they'd get Wally West over to Titans, but I don't know. So,
Wally or Wallace?
So
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm in the air as to which Wally that is. I mean, he has the look of Wally too, but I have a feeling that he's that universe's Wally West in general. And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Aquaman's suit was really good, and Black Manta was great in the movie. I feel like Aquaman seemed a bit invulnerable in his fight against Black Manta. I'll tell you, my favorite part of the movie is when Aquaman shows up out of the waterfall with the full suit on. It's beautiful, beautiful. Like I verbally wanted to shout for joy the first time I saw it, and the second time I saw it. So I loved it.
My favorite visual was where he lifted the submarine out of the water.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. So 50th anniversary issues.
Yes.
Sorry for cutting you off, Lewis.
No, yeah, you're fine. I want us to be able to recognize the fam chatting with us and stuff. So probably the first big 50th issue was Fantastic Four number 50, because back in those days, in the 60s when that came out, it was unheard of, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know necessarily that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were trying to make this like some milestone issue like we would see today, but it was the finale to their Galactus trilogy, which is arguably one of the greatest comic book stories of all time. And when I say arguably, I mean people argue whether it should be number 1 or not.
Yeah. Right?
Because the setup to it, the hype for it, it's a thing of beauty. It's been they've attempted various things with it, like they've adapted it for the cartoons in the 90s. They tried something like it in the movie, and I think if they had Galactus and not the cloud thing, it would have landed better. So I don't know what that was about, Fox. I'm still mad about that. We could probably do a whole video on how mad I am about that movie.
Yeah.
Because I really felt like that's where Fantastic Four was either going to make or break, and they broke my heart.
Yeah.
Because I want to say it came out about my birthday that year, and I really wanted to go see it, and I was there opening night, and I was mad when I left because I'm like, this is not what I wanted for my birthday this year.
Yeah.
But no, so Fantastic Four number 50 is probably one of the big so like a lot of 50th issues nowadays, if comics make it that far, which is, it says a lot when a comic makes it that far these days. Because we were talking beforehand how Gleason and Tomasi's Superman run didn't make it to issue 50.
Yeah.
I think I would have held out for that, personally. Like, if I were DC, I'd have been like, man, give him 5 more issues or something. But they wanted to restart it just because Bendis was joining, and I'm like, they could have had the 50th issue of that be the Zod issue that we thought was well received, right? Like, well, if they just kept the numbering.
They could have published 2 Supermans.
Well, right. I mean, that's
change the title of it.
Man of
for
Steel,
5 issues.
Man of Steel, right?
Well, and it was Man of Steel coming out for 6 months,
right?
Or
3 months.
3 months. 3 months. Man of Steel was coming out for 3 months before. They would have gotten that's plenty of time for them to have a Superman, a Man of Steel, and then an Action Comics, and then you just go seamlessly right into Superman. It's like boom.
Yeah.
But no, we got to stop at 45 for some weird reason.
It's
another
one that came out.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting.
Yeah, well, you're
it's
fine.
Kind of like Venditti's
Green Lantern.
Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern. It ended like 47. I was like,
right.
You're 3 away. 3 issues. Come on, just extend that thing a little farther and get a 50 out there. I think they did it with Green Lanterns.
Yeah, I think that was like 57 or something, right?
Yeah.
It was a weird number.
Dan Jurgens, I think, went to 50.
Oh,
but then Venditti's only went to like 47, if I remember correctly.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I was like, why? Why did you just suddenly stop this?
Well, and Green Arrow's getting canceled at number 50.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know how everybody finds out about this before I do.
I'll tell you off camera. I'll tell you off camera.
I never hear about any of this stuff.
Well, I was reading an interview with the guy who was getting ready to write the story, and he was like, they told me like 2 weeks after they told me I was going to be writing it that I'd be closing the book out at 50. And so I just decided to scrap the ideas I had and save them for later. So maybe they'll give me a chance to write Green Arrow later.
There you go.
And I'm just like, that boggles my mind. Like, you have the character on TV. Why would you not have the book?
Well, and the Rebirth title was excellent for about half of it.
Yeah.
And then it just slowly kind of got boring.
Yeah.
And then they rebooted it halfway through in like the late 30s, I think it was, and it was good. It was really good again.
Right, Dinah came in, right?
Huh?
Black Canary joined?
No. She's in it most of the run.
Oh, okay.
They had a new creative team. It was, I thought it looked like, well, I don't know the people, but it looked like 2 sisters.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know the people, but whatever.
Right.
But it was good. It was good again, and then it just kind of tapered off again.
Right.
It's like, how hard is Green Arrow to write? Like, come on now. Superman, Batman, Green Arrow, Flash, these are your like easy ones to write. Wonder Woman should be easier than it is. I don't know why everybody struggles with her.
Because they want to push an agenda rather than let the story sort of write itself, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
And I'm not trying to start a beef with anybody who holds to like feminist ideals. I was just reading a Superman comic in here about Livewire wanting to.
Of course, you're promoting that book.
It's good. It's good. It was $4 at Alex.
Before we started the stream, guys, he was showing me this book a few times and made sure that I saw all the covers and stuff. So
this story,
I'm not surprised that he's inserting it into the.
It's called using prompts. Anyway, that story, written in the 90s or whatever, it is about like this loudmouth disc jockey who's very much like a Rush Limbaugh type, blasting feminists and that sort of thing. And it's kind of funny when you read it because you're like, wow, is he writing 20 years ago or today? Because you still hear that kind of vitriol toward a more feminist position. and yet you sympathize with the villain and the other characters in the story. Like Superman doesn't want to knock down necessarily those ideas. I think he would much prefer, especially as a journalist, to discuss those ideas. And so like the story's written in such a way that at the end, the villain has been defeated because the way she was going about trying to push her idea was not exactly the most helpful. And then the EMTs that are riding in the ambulance with her are basically spouting the nonsense
so close.
that she had been opposing the whole time, and it's meant to, create conversation, right? And so I feel like a lot of times Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, whatever, get utilized in such a way that it's more of a hammer than it is an olive branch, if that makes sense, right? So we don't need to hammer people about our particular ideologies, especially in these stories that aren't meant for that. But like you mentioned Green Arrow, I mean, he's always been presented as a left-wing political person. Therefore, I think that should inform the way he acts, but he shouldn't be soapboxing per se, because then he distances himself from some of the target audience, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I had spent that whole time you were talking trying to get Booster Gold up in there. I don't know if you can see on the camera you're looking on, but
yeah, I can see it. Oh, and there you go. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a way to talk about these issues and topics, and sometimes the artists, writers, whatever, focus so much on arguing a point that they don't actually move the story forward so that the discussion can be had by the audience.
All right. So we got a couple. I did a video where I read parts of a Venom comic and tried voice acting. It's kind of cringe, though. That's Dan Zier.
Yeah.
And then another guy, Bryson Dunham. I'm guessing I'm saying your name. I'm terrible at names, people, so I'm sorry if I ever misread your name. I'm very terrible with names. You can ask Lewis about that. What's your thoughts on Captain Marvel movie Fallout?
Much ado about nothing.
I'm torn. She hasn't, the character hasn't earned a movie, I don't think. I'll tell you one a woman that has earned a film as far as character goes. Black Widow. We should get.
They're making one.
Well,
they're making one.
I heard they were making a TV series.
Oh, I heard it was a movie. Okay.
I don't know. It keeps changing. They should have had one already though, or they could have done one with her and Hawkeye. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. No, that would have been great.
But I don't know. I don't care anything for the character, so I really don't care. I'll go see the movie because it's a Marvel movie. And so the other part of me is I hope it doesn't destroy the franchise because I love where the franchise is going overall. But at the same time, I really hate that this character who doesn't deserve a movie is getting a movie, and then we'll get a fan base behind her without having earned it in the comic books. And so basically all of her fame will pretty much come from the movie. It's kind of like how so many people are big Marvel fans, and I'm not hating on Marvel fans out there, but a lot of people I meet love Marvel because of the movies, and I'm like, well, you've never read the comic books, and I'm not saying that they're bad because a lot of them are really great, but a lot of people only go by the movies, and it's just I really hate to see a really awfully portrayed character. I felt like she was really good back in the day. Nowadays, not so much.
Hey, here's a question for you.
Go ahead.
If we don't so we need a mega powerful character to do space stories about, and we want a female. What character would we use?
I don't know. Before you said female, I was like, well, you've got the Fantastic Four. Now you've got Adam Warlock. You've got, I almost said Adam Strange. Adam Warlock. Terrible names. And then you've got Silver Surfer. So lots of cool
Right.
space characters they could have done, but oh well. Female, I don't know. I'm not as knowledgeable about Marvel.
Unfortunately, that's one of Marvel's problems.
Yeah.
Is that so many of their characters, they don't have strong female characters. Like, I think I can name the main ones on one hand, and then if you eliminate the X-Men, you're down to just a handful. I was rereading Marvel versus DC the other day, and it was Storm versus Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, let that sink in. Storm versus Wonder Woman. Like Captain Marvel fought Thor, the original Captain Marvel, and then Superman fought the Hulk.
Yeah.
Wolverine fought Lobo. Batman fought Captain America. Those seem like even matches. But then you have Storm versus Wonder Woman. It just seems like Rogue versus Wonder Woman would have been a better matchup physically, right?
Denzier's saying Rogue all the way.
Well, right.
He also said he wants to see the different Hulks and Beta Ray Bill. I completely agree with Beta Ray Bill. Definitely.
I don't need all those Hulks.
I love Beta Ray Bill. The Hulks, it's whatever. They're not doing much with the Hulks. I just want a Hulk movie. That's all I want. If we get that, I'll be happy.
If we're talking different Hulks, like the Savage Hulk, the Gray Hulk, the Professor Hulk, things like that, I'm on board for that. Let's do that. But if you mean like A-Bomb and Abomination and Red Hulk and Red She-Hulk, no. Now, She-Hulk...
I wouldn't mind She-Hulk. Hey, there's a strong woman. You can throw her out in space.
Okay, no. How do you get her there, though?
You launch her. Just like you got the regular Hulk out there.
No, she would have no reason to go into space.
Oh my!
Except for like a story.
Hulk had no reason to go out in space, but Hulk went to space.
Yeah, we still don't know how that worked, though.
Sure, you just start with her in somewhere out in the galaxy, and boom, you go from there. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go.
How we got there.
So, but at least you have a strong female.
Yes, no, I think She-Hulk is a good example of that. So I would be all for her. She's one of the handful of characters that I was about to name that aren't a part of the X-Men.
I'm looking at my
her and Captain Marvel. Do I?
I'm looking at my poster back here to draw from. Yeah, that's one thing with DC. Like they've got a lot of strong women.
And a good cast.
And by that I mean like characters that are famous, people love, and really have been able to hold their own in the universe. Whereas Marvel has some, but I don't feel like a lot of them are as strong.
Right, which is why they put all their chips on Captain Marvel.
Right.
So I'm just saying, if the stories weren't, like I just read about an upcoming story where some guy she's fighting is super obnoxious, and he's like, women should be in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, and she and you're going to be my bride or something like that. So like, it's one thing to put that out there as an ideology. It's another for it to be coming out of the mouth of the villain as she's fighting him.
Yeah.
So it just comes across as really weird.
Yeah.
But if that's all you can come up with, that's like if the villain asks her every issue, "Are you going to break a nail in this fight?" Just stop. 'Cause I don't want to read that. Like, I really don't. I think that's it's sort of like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. It's sort of like every issue of X-Men doesn't have to be about the fact that they're mutants and different and
right.
You know what I mean? Like, they can have regular adventures that aren't this really depressing, oh, we're different, we're so odd and out there.
And that was one of the problems with the new Champion series that they had, is like every issue it was trying to push this political agenda, which some of the issues were okay, but overall it was just like seriously every issue. Bryson says Wonder Woman would crush both Rogue and Storm together. Definitely. And then Danzier says Rogue as a character, or he likes her as a character, and she has lots of personality. And then Bryson says Hulk doesn't really have any good villains.
That's not true. That's not.
I thought that might invoke a response.
If you're talking about for the movies, that might be a little more difficult. But I think the leader could easily be an excellent foil, and they set it up in the Ed Norton movie with Abomination. So it would be a movie, instead of being just like pound for pound, let's beat each other up. It'd be brain versus brawn, and if the right person wrote it, I think it could be very compelling.
Well, it's kind of like when they did The Thinker on Flash TV show. Okay. That was a great series, great season, because before every bad guy was just a speedster that could run faster.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how much faster is the next one going to be able to run than Barry? And they finally got someone who didn't run, and Barry couldn't beat the villain by just running faster. I thought that was really great. And so I think the same would go with Hulk, is, Hulk solves most of his problems by punching them. And so when you make it where he has to actually think and outsmart the guy, and then, punch him in the end, that makes it really interesting.
And the UFOs are a group of villains that were affiliated with the leader at one point. So one of them has mist powers, one of them has laser powers, one of them has strength and invulnerability, and now I'm drawing a blank what the fourth guy was. But they could easily be a setup before the Hulk gets to the leader. You know what I mean? So I think there's potential there. He doesn't have enough for a solid trilogy. I mean, we could do the absorbing man, who touches things and absorbs the properties, so he could touch steel and become a being of steel as a one-off, but I don't know that it could be So, I originally envisioned an additional Hulk movie being sort of like this 45-minute piece alongside something for Black Widow and something for Hawkeye. Tales to Astonish was my idea. That's what Marvel should have done, these little vignette movies for 45 minutes apiece. And I think that would have fit in really well there. But
yeah.
Anyway, there are other characters too that could be compelling.
Here we got, I like the 80s live action TV run of Hulk. That's Danzier. I like the old TV show.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I used to get up early in the morning on Saturdays to watch that.
We've got the problem with Hulk is Bruce Banner's not utilized properly.
We agree.
That's definitely true. He was good in Thor Ragnarok. Bryson says DC space characters has space characters: Starfire, Jessica Cruz, Sapphire. DC's got a ton of ladies that you can.
DC has got the characters. It's whether they use them or not. Right. Because for so long, the problem was they stuck with just Superman and Batman, but then they bring out Wonder Woman, and we're hungry for that. And they bring out Aquaman, and we're hungry for that because we're finally getting something other than just Superman or Batman. Not that we don't want those characters, but we want more than that. Right. It's sort of like when Marvel went the Guardians of the Galaxy route. They weren't sure what was going to happen, but because it was fun and it was different, we're like, but it's like this, but it's fun and different, so we'll take it, and we ate it up.
DC's got a strong female character for just about everything. So you've got Zatanna and Raven, who can do any of the mystical stuff. You got Wonder Woman, who's basically can do a lot of the same Superman stories, but different. She can also do war stories. You have Starfire, Jessica Cruz. You've got Hawkgirl, Supergirl. All these characters could do anything in space. You've got Mara, who can do the underwater like Aquaman. You've got Oracle. You've got Batgirl. You've got
for your street level stuff.
Donna Troy. You've got Arrowette. All these characters that can do the street level stuff. Spoiler. I'm glad you mentioned her.
It's the one word we forget to say so often. I figured I'd throw it in there.
Well, I was going to say it, but I know that she's not as much your favorite.
I don't mind her. I think she's an interesting character. I just don't think
Talia al Ghul is a good anti-hero.
Yeah, or even villainous.
So it's like, DC has women pretty much in every sphere. Black Canary.
Yes.
I can't believe I waited till the end to say her. But then they've got others like Stargirl and I'm blanking now, but you've got others that could, fit in like a Justice Society or Justice League, and it's just like, there's so many characters that could really do well.
Which is why it's annoying that they're focusing on Harley Quinn.
Right.
They have so many great female heroes, it really bothers me they're focusing on Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Well, they know they can get a hit movie if they put Harley in, just like Joker. I'm like, we don't need Joker and Harley in every single movie. Oh, no! No, people, it's not a, what in the world? Okay, it froze for a second there. That's weird.
It's all good.
I get excited, I move around, and I hit this stupid headphone cords. Okay. Anyways. Well, Danzier, I know you may have to go because of your phone, but thanks for watching as long as you did. And if you're able to, feel free to stick around.
Yeah, I know or come back and watch us later.
I've actually got my phone plugged in right now so that it won't die, because it's been dying like several times a day. So, fun times.
I'm glad you said that. I need to charge mine too.
Anywho, 50th anniversary issues. Yeah, it was weird that the ones we got in Rebirth were Nightwing and Batman. I know that everybody loves Tom King, and I'm not going to hate on him here, even though I don't hate him, but I think he's hit or miss, and so
I think he's overrated.
I think he's very overrated. But he can do some really great stuff. I feel like he does do really well when he getting character personalities right.
Right.
To some extent, because he gets Booster, I think, really well in that leading up to issue 50 where Booster gives Batman a present. Hilarious. It's great. It's totally Booster, but there's other times where just it doesn't get the character at all, and then what he did to Wally. So it's just like, I don't know, really weird. He's hit or miss for me. It was weird, and I use this example all the time. In the he did the War on Jokes and Riddles. Pretty sure that was him. And excuse me. The whole thing was terrible. It was boring. I didn't care for the artwork personally. But the one issue that was good was the special side story on Kite Man, and it was amazing. It was so good. It's like, why couldn't you do this for the whole thing? I don't know. So Bryson says Guardians of the Galaxy series is his favorite. I love the Guardians. Chris Pratt, I love him. I watched the Parks and Rec every now and then through the whole series. He's great. Everything he does is really good. I didn't care for the second one as much, but he says Power Girl. I didn't even mention Power Girl.
Well, yeah, I totally forgot Power Girl.
So she's a great character. I think she's one of those that DC doesn't always know what to do with.
Nope, not at all.
They'll throw her out. It's weird. DC has all these great characters that they don't know what to do with. It's like, really? So, and then they create new awesome characters like Terrifics and Sideways and Silencer, and then they don't know what to do with that either.
Yeah. So, well, the Terrifics aren't that new except for the Phantom Girl.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well, the team is. The team
is. The team is, yeah.
So, it's a brand new team. I don't know that we've seen a whole lot of new teams in general. It's a lot of like redoing of old teams. Let's bring back this team that hasn't been in the comics for 30 years, and let's bring back this team. I'm glad that we finally got a new one, but I was saying I found it weird that the 250 issues that we got in Rebirth were Batman and Nightwing.
Hey, that's not all.
The two of the main ones. I mean, we had Dan Jurgens' Green Lanterns.
Yeah, and you said that was pretty good.
It was.
And then Flash number 50, where
that's right. That one was excellent. That was
really good.
That was probably the best out of all of them.
And had the return of Bart.
Yeah.
Dan
here. The reason I didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as much is they were wasting some of the characters. And that would include Rocket. I don't think they knew what to do with him in the movie. He was funny in a lot of scenes, but I didn't feel like they really knew what to do with the character. He just kind of, half of the movie, he's just kind of sitting around doing nothing important. Fixing the ship. And the worst wasn't Rocket. The worst was Drax. They really didn't know what to do with him. He just sat around and made really terrible jokes the whole movie. Like, in the first one, it was funny because it was new and he's kind of lost in his own world. But the second one, he's just so out of it the whole movie. And I'm just like, why do you have this character in the movie if he's not going to do anything?
Yeah.
That's the main reason I didn't care for it. If they had really gotten all the characters to be equally interesting, I loved the main story. I really enjoyed the character arcs for what's the blue guy's name?
Yondu.
Yes, I really love that character arc. With Star-Lord having to choose between two fathers. That was excellent. So yeah, the forest scene was really good, but the problem was they spoiled it in the commercials, so you knew what was going to happen. Although I did enjoy the scene with the bomb, or with the baby Groot running with the bomb. It was great. That was good. So I didn't hate the movie. I just put it much lower than a lot of the other movies because I just felt like there was a lot of wasted airtime they could have put.
They were spinning their wheels until Avengers 3.
To some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, Thor 3 was great.
Right.
So, anyways, you got any other 50s you want to comment on?
Yeah. So, Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man number 50. It's titled Spider-Man No More. If you look up the cover, it'll look familiar because you've seen it if you've watched the Tobey Maguire movies. He throws the suit in the trash can and walks away from it. That's what that looks like. And it's the first appearance of Kingpin, which obviously he's not as well known as a Spider-Man villain, but he did start out as a Spider-Man villain. And eventually they migrated over to Daredevil. And so it, again, I don't know that they were going out of their way to make it double-sized or, this blockbuster extravaganza or anything of that sort. They were just writing good comics. And so I think that was Stan Lee and John Romita Sr. Who were doing that. And, they kind of set the standard for what 50th issues sort of became known for. And then, you think about Captain America or the Hulk or whatever, those issues for their characters started later. Like it was Captain America number 100 and Hulk number 100 because they built off of what was already there with Tales to Astonish and Tales of Suspense and that sort of thing. And but all these other characters, they weren't necessarily looking for this special issue, but it became known for that because a lot of comics weren't lasting that long. I remember reading a story, and I just think this is amazing. Marv Wolfman and George Perez. I say those names, and you're like, we know who they are because they are hallowed names in comicdom, and of course we talk about them just about every video.
Especially DC.
Yeah, so... Well, even in Marvel, right? Because Marv Wolfman created a Blade and Nova.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so I think Nova's going to become a more prominent character in the movies soon. But
why haven't we seen a Blade movie in a long time? I will say that
Snipes got in trouble with tax evasion or something, and so he's trying to lay low. Would be my guess.
He recast it. They're recasting everything else.
Well, that's true.
Although anyway, he is the perfect Blade.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. What's his name from Hellboy? It's perfect for Hellboy. I know that's not. I don't think that's Marvel, but
it's not. It's Dark Horse.
They're doing a reboot with a new actor.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. I don't like it. I like Ron Perlman, and I think he should have been able to finish out the trilogy.
Yeah.
I thought that would have made more sense before rebooting, but that's just me. He could have played an older Hellboy. It would have been amazing because Ron Perlman is gold. You know, he did the voice of Deathstroke on the Teen Titans cartoon, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just say okay. Anyway, so that brings me back to Marv Wolfman and George Perez. George Perez wanted to draw something else at DC, and he agreed to the Titans because he and Marv Wolfman didn't think it would last longer than 6 issues.
Yeah.
They thought the market wouldn't take it, and then they were like, let's just do it. And like 4 issues in, they're like, wow, not only is this good, but we're getting good reception from it. So let's keep rolling. And they went.
Because it blew the original Teen Titans out of the water. Yes.
Well, and ultimately, you go back and you read old comics, and you're like, I get what they're going for here. It's sort of like extended comic strip stuff, right? Where you've got a bad guy, you've got the good guy stopping the bad guy, and you're like, okay, we get that. There wasn't as much nuance or depth of character yet.
Yeah.
There were some folks who would sprinkle more of that in, but a lot of it became stagnant until the 60s and late 50s or whatever. Yeah. And then, Marvel started doing more personal stuff and dealing with ancillary characters on the side. Within the framework of a superhero story, so that you had like the crew at the Daily Bugle, right? Like J. Jonah Jameson and what's his name? Robbie Robertson, and all those folks, and it just blew up. Like that became a thing, and so a lot of artists and writers and stuff have gone out of their way to build up the cast of characters, because it's not just a Superman story.
Yeah.
It's how is he interacting with Jimmy and Lois and Perry, and what's going on in Perry's world, and how does that affect Superman, because he's human in the sense that he's got all these human connections. So
yeah. Well, and that's one of the strengths I think of a Superman title is it's not just about Superman. You've got all these other characters, especially Action Comics. And maybe that's a weakness of Wonder Woman, because they can't keep enough people in there to that really consistent.
Well, no, I mean in the history of the character, there have been different writers have done a great job. George Perez.
Thinking it recently.
Oh right. Well,
I'm not saying overall, because I mean there's a reason she's popular.
Yeah.
So I mean, but Detective Comics and Action Comics and Superman and Batman have all had their 50 issues. Because that like Detective's coming on its 1000th issue.
Well, right, but at that point it wasn't that big of a deal, right? Like Detective Comics started at number 27 with Batman. It had been going for a couple of years, and then Batman shows up. Action Comics number 1, Superman wasn't even the first story in that issue.
Right, sure.
So it was more of a I guess anthology. There were multiple stories in it. And he just took off in popularity, so they're like, all right, we'll make it about Superman then.
All right, we got a question. What are your top 5 favorite X-Men villains and top 5 Superman villains?
We'll do videos about the X-Men villains, because we've talked about that before. So I don't want to give that away. As far as Superman,
keep watching. Coming up in the near future.
As far as Superman villains, you want to make that a movie too, or a video too?
Sure. I'll leave that up to my local scribe who writes all these ideas down.
I am writing down right now. Hey, here's my pen. Here's my paper.
You know what? One of the great things that y'all don't see behind the scenes is, having good friends who compliment your own weaknesses is great. I am terrible at remembering things, but I'm also super lazy and terrible at writing things down. But Lewis, on the other hand, writes everything down.
I carry
everything, and it kind of balances out. So it's really nice. It's really nice.
So we will work on those videos. They will become a priority. So please check back for that. We've been asking you guys to tell us what you want to see videos about. So definitely that.
Yeah, that Shazam trailer, Lewis aggravated me for like 2 months about. It's like, we could do this. I'm like, we'll do this instead. Oh, we could do this new trailer. I'm like, we'll do this instead.
He made me wait so long to get
and then eventually it's just like, okay, fine, we'll do the Shazam movie.
So I really hope the movie turns out well, because I'm going to be upset if it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. But Bryson, we do have a top 10 Marvel and DC villains. We did do the DC Marvel ones, didn't we? I know we did DC.
I don't think we've done the Marvel villains. We've done our top heroes at Marvel, though.
Okay.
And
we've done our top 10 X-Men as well.
15.
Well, I say top 10, and it's always like 15 or 20 because we can't ever narrow it down. And we want to mention everybody.
Yeah, so that was one of our earlier videos together.
We did the X-Men in Columbia with
V. It was like 4 or 5.
That was fun. If you look at our playlist, I haven't updated it in a while, but under playlists on the channel, it's got a lot of our early superhero chats, and you can see any of those. We've got a lot of top 10 lists there because somebody asked for it a long time ago, so we did a bunch of them. And they kind of sprang into us sitting here and talking about whatever. but we're okay. We'll do the others. It helps to remind me because I forget, and I'm always got other things. I'm like, we can just do this, and so if y'all have any ideas, I mean, that'll be helpful. We'd love to talk about whatever lists you want, because we're very opinionated and we like to talk about it.
Because we'd be doing this with or without the cameras, but since you guys are watching,
that's right,
in front of the camera.
Well, it's funny. One of our first trips together, where we really got to know each other, because we met at church, but we really didn't spend a lot of time together until we went on a mission trip together, and we spent like the entire trip talking about comic books, and then it might have been the second one where we started doing lists.
Yes, it was the second one.
We talked about the entirety of comic book history and the future of, so let's make lists. Let's draft our own Justice League. That's where the drafts came in later. While we have these.
I have a notebook on my desk underneath some stuff, but I can't find it at the moment.
So we did like our favorite heroes, and then we listed our picks for the Justice League, our own Justice League, and our own Avengers, and then we did like a B and C team, and then we did like Birds of Prey, and then we did a B and C team for that, and each one of us had a different list. It was fun.
It was great.
So we've been doing this for a long time. So let's see, top 10 Grail comics. I'm not sure what that means.
What's Grail? Grail.
Yes. Is there any other way to spell Grail?
Well, I didn't know if you said Grell, like Mike Grell, and I was like, well, that should be a short list. Grail comics.
I would enjoy that too.
Let's see.
Mike Grell signature right there.
So yeah. I can't see where you're at.
That's all right. You can in the screen.
Hey man, one of your Grails is Amazing Spider-Man 13, right? First Mysterio.
Grail.
Like Holy Grail comics, like comics you wish you could own.
Oh. Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool.
More Fun Comics number 73 for both of us. because it's the first appearance of Aquaman and the first appearance of Green Arrow.
I was gonna say Aquaman. I don't care about Aquaman. Give me 1 second. Keep talking, Lewis.
Look, boy, don't make me come through this. Okay, so back to my list of top number 50s. So like Batman number 50 with the Catwoman Batman marriage thing. More recently, so back in the 80s, you had Tales of the New Teen Titans.
See her here.
Where Donna Troy got married.
All right, that was okay. Yeah, he says yes. Holy Grail comics. I have. You can't really see, but a leaning tower of stuff here. There you go, Lewis.
I really can't see.
Yeah, I was. He said that would be interesting. BC team videos. Okay, that's all out of whack now. Great.
Well, if you go back and watch our mini draft, that's kind of like our BNC team thing, because we did an Avengers one that took a little while to get uploaded because of technical difficulties.
Be able to hear me now.
We did one off camera, just Jonathan and I, and it was sort of like that. I mean, he chose wisely.
Yeah. Still lost.
No. I think you won that.
I won the second one.
Right, the mini draft.
Spoiler.
I'm directing them to.
Anyways, I got up because it was right beside me. Here's my favorite comic. I'll spoil it now that I got. Yeah, I'm super excited about that.
I bet you wouldn't mind owning Detective Comics number 38.
Detectives 38. That's the first appearance of Dick?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I also have the first appearance of Tim. I have the first appearance of Tim as Robin. And I've got, I'll tell you, my favorite comic book ever made is, I forget which number it is. I think it's like 36 or something. It's Marv Wolfman.
Oh, no, it's 39, I think.
It's Who's Donna Troy in the New Teen Titans. Amazing. It's my favorite comic book I've ever read. I think I did a whole video on it, so you can probably go find that somewhere.
You did.
So that's my favorite comic book. But yeah, we can do that. That's a lot of good ideas, Bryson. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, no. When I found if you were on the channel long enough to know Brandon, he was Play for Life Comics in Wake Forest. If you ever
went. Hey, man, August 10th, I believe. It's like the second Saturday in August.
That is
Mini Comic Con, man.
Let's go. I'll have to plan for it. I'm already planning on coming down for the Detective Comics 1000. So we'll be live some point that day, whatever day it is in March. I've got it written down, but that one was important enough for me to write down. But he had
write the other one down too. That's around my birthday, dude.
Sure, I'll write it down. It's
around your birthday too, if I'm not mistaken.
Here you go. But Brandon had the that New Teen Titan issue that I just showed you, and he had a big deal where every comic book in his store was on a discount. And I was like, even the pricey ones, he's like, especially the pricey ones. I was like, all right. So he had it for like $65, so I got it for $45, I think, 40 or 45. So pretty awesome. But I think the next one I'm gonna get is New Teen Titans number 1. Unless I find Beta Ray Bill or I find that Spider-Man.
For the record, Beta Ray Bill shouldn't be that hard to find.
I know, but
I have a copy of that.
I know. So we'll see. I also want the first appearance of Jessica Cruz. So that one's a little more difficult. I've got Simon Biles and I got John Kent. But yeah. Anywho.
I'll make a list as far as my Grail comics go. because I bet it could be fairly extensive.
You said your Grail, right? Not Mike Grail.
That's right, my Grail.
Okay, I heard Mike Grail. I was like, oh, I kind of see how he was, heard
Personal
it differently.
Grail comics.
I won't pick on you about that anymore.
Yeah.
I've never room to talk.
Zero it to top 5 or top 10?
We'll aim for 10, and I'm sure it'll end up like 20. So
yeah. So real quick, some other number 50s that were good. Web of Spider-Man number 50. I love the cover. Spider-Man's coming at you. Huh?
I have 2 of those.
You do? Oh, you have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should put the names of our viewers in a hat and draw out one of those, because that's an excellent cover. I love the cover. It's very similar to Amazing Spider-Man number 300, which was Tom McFarlane, but the other one is Alex Saviak, who was the Web of Spider-Man artist for a while. And there's all these sort of random characters that come together to work with Spider-Man in that issue. And it was just a fun comic that set off a good story about the Chameleon replacing J. Jonah Jameson. And it was good. Then you have Flash number 50 from the 90s. Flash gets his more deeper scarlet colored costume rather than sort of what we would call the traditional Flash costume. And so that's a good issue. He actually dies in it. So go read that and see how he.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got to be.
I'm just picking on you because you always say that to me.
Yeah. Green Lantern number 50 in the 90s. Ron Mars replaced Hal Jordan with Kyle Rayner.
Mm.
That's the issue that Kyle gets the ring. And that's not all that happens.
I wouldn't mind that issue either.
I may have an extra copy, so let me check on that for you.
Okay.
That might be a good one to own because it has a really cool cover. I think it glows in the dark.
Really?
Yeah, it has like luminescent paint, so you hold it up to a light or leave it laying out with a light nearby, and then you can cut the light off, and you'll see like the Green Lantern symbol in the background.
And you can quote, your Green Lantern motto.
That's right. That's right. Do you know that?
In brightest day and darkest night.
It's blackest night. Come on now.
No evil shall escape my sight. Let all those who worship evils might. Beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
Green Lantern's light! That's right. Good job.
Something
Excellent.
like that. For a Green Lantern fan, I should at least sort of know it like I did. Probably should know it better.
But it's hard to outdo John Stewart on the early episodes of the Justice League, quoting it as he's fighting the Manhunters and reigniting the Owen battery.
All right. What comic book characters that haven't been mentioned for a movie already would you like to see in a Marvel and DC movie? Green Arrow, Nightwing, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, pretty much the whole cast of the New Teen Titans. Hal Jordan, we've already had one, but I'd like another one.
Martian
Manhunter, John Stewart, Hawkman, Hawkgirl.
Honestly, if they did a good Hawkgirl movie, I don't know that I'd need a Hawkman movie.
Yeah. We'll go back to doing an Oracle movie. I'd love to see the Riddler. I know he's a villain, but I want to see the Riddler in a good DC movie.
I want to see a good Riddler, period. I don't care if Marvel does it.
I haven't seen a good Riddler in a movie since Adam West, so. My pastor quoted or referenced Adam West in the sermon Sunday, and he was like, who played that Batman? He's asking, and he was like, oh, what's his name? I was like, Adam West. I was like, you're bringing out the nerd in me on Sunday. In the
you don't need to go to the kind of church that would allow you to speak, right?
Well, we rarely do that. I was like, okay, I guess I'm speaking about Batman in the middle of the service. I mean, I have done my Yoda impression in a Sunday school lesson, so that was fun.
Yeah.
That was involuntary. It just kind of came out. So, but anyways, it was out my mouth before I knew what had happened. It was funny. Like afterwards, I was like, "Did I really do that?" Anyways,
as far as Marvel goes, I like Captain Britain, so I'd love a movie about him.
I want to see Beta Ray Bill, although he doesn't. I don't necessarily need to see him having his own movie, but in a movie, I really want Beta Ray Bill. I wanted to see Adam Warlock. Yeah,
I'd like to see this guy, and he's right here, right? Booster's over here.
Yeah, and yours is right there. That was weird. Let's see, Marvel. Iron Fist. I'd like to see a good Iron Fist. Daredevil. That'd be a cool new movie. He's great in the TV show.
Yeah. So keep that guy, right?
Yeah. She-Hulk would be cool. I'd like to see a good Cyclops. Even though we have one. Miles Morales, please, thank you. A new Fantastic Four would be great. Sorry, I've got a lot on my list. That's it's right at the top. Let's see here. I'd like to see some of the lesser characters of X-Men. Like they focused on the main characters. I'd like to see more Beast, and I'd like to see more Nightcrawler. I think they said something about a Gambit movie, so that's cool.
I don't know if that'll ever get made though, with Fox being bought out by Disney.
No, I heard talk about it, so I don't know.
Okay.
Black Widow needs a new movie, or her own movie.
But we mentioned her already.
But yeah, I know. I'm just repeating for emphasis.
In case you can't see what he's looking at, he's got a giant Marvel poster.
Sorry, I know I'm looking away from everybody.
Silver Surfer. You mentioned him earlier, but that would be amazing.
But we'd be fine if we had a Fantastic Four movie. It'd probably
be Fantastic Four movie.
Sure.
If not, DC needs to make that Terrifics movie happen.
There you go. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'd love to see Sideways get his own movie. He could hold it. DC Spider-Man, right? DC's Fantastic Four would be great.
Hey, what's his real name, by the way?
Sideways? Oh, man. You're asking the worst person.
Wikipedia.
You're asking the worst person what someone's name is.
I know. I'll look it up on Wikipedia. Keep talking.
Saint Walker. I'd love to see some Saint Walker action. That'd be great.
Man, you're getting deep in the Green Lantern.
Hey, I'm a Green Lantern fan. I'm a Blue Lantern, so, it makes sense. Oh, well. Yeah. I could keep going for a long time. I'm sure if I actually let Lewis talk, he'd probably beat me, but...
Derek James.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So, Tim Drake. Give me Tim Drake. I may have said that already, but I'm going to say it again. I want a Tim Drake spoiler. I would love a Young Justice movie. That'd be amazing. So, I
want a Nightwing movie. I want DC to be... man enough to say, you know what? We've done enough Batman movies. Let's give him Nightwing.
Favorite Green Lantern from Earth. Oh, man, it's hard. I like them all.
True, yeah.
I mean, if I had to rank them, it'd probably go something like Hal, Kyle, Jessica, John, Guy, Alan. Well, Simon would be up there. John, Simon, Guy, Alan. But it's hard not to like Kilowog, and of course I've got a soft spot for Saint Walker, even though he's not a Green Lantern.
And they asked for your Earthbound Green Lanterns. So.
Yeah, so that's the order of my Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Hal, Kyle, Jessica, John, Simon, Guy, Alan. Kilowog. Kilowog. Yeah, Red Hood and Outlaw would be a good movie, as long as it didn't have a. Oh yes, the Artemis and Bizarro Red Hood Outlaws is so good. It was so good, and they had to get rid of it, and they got rid of the other two without giving them really good any justice. I was like, seriously, DC. They don't know what to do with a good thing.
They don't. They don't. That's why we have Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Overdone Crisis,
So
Heroes in Crisis,
I don't know.
Company in Crisis. That's the next crisis.
It was a great series. It was really good. I was really disappointed. For a while, we had every Robin in a major series. So Nightwing had Nightwing, Red Hood had Red Hood and the Outlaws, Tim Drake had Detective Comics, and then we had Damian Wayne in Teen Titans. So it was just like everybody had their own. Of course, Teen Titans was terrible until they rebooted it, and it's excellent now. So that's one of the only ones that's been flipped, and now it's great.
Yeah, they're probably with Deathstroke in the near future.
Marvel reboots about every 2 years, but they have a whole bunch of soft reboots every few months.
Well, Marvel's reboots are always soft reboots.
Yeah.
They'll kill a character and resurrect them really fast, over and over again.
It's like
over and over again.
It's like they had the return of the Hunt for Wolverine and the Return of Wolverine. I didn't even know Wolverine was gone. I was like, when did he die? Probably like a few months ago.
No, actually, it took a couple of years. Yeah. They left him dead for a little while. They brought in Old Man Logan, so Wolverine from the future, but the real Wolverine had been dead for a while.
So he said Teen Titans with Damian as the leader would be awesome. So here's what I would say to that. What DC needs to do once they get their main universe going is they have a side universe for the sidekicks. You start off with Dick Grayson. You have the Teen Titans and the good Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans, with Marv Wolfman's characters and Perez's characters. You have them start off. They get old, like after 2 or 3 movies, they become the Titans. And then you have them mentor the Young Justice. You can have, like in the second movie, you can have Nightwing or Dick stop being Robin and become Nightwing, and you can have him becoming used to Red Hood or Jason being Robin, and so
no, we'll just skip. We'll skip Jason and we'll go straight to Tim.
Well, and then a little bit later, you kind of off screen. You know, that's not real. It's just something he's dealing with. Then you do a movie. You have like the Death in the Family, where you kill off Jason, and then you can have that great story, a Batman story. It'd be like your second Batman movie or something. And then
so if you make it the Batman movie, I agree.
Then you bring Tim Drake in, you bring in the Young Justice, and you have the Titans mentor the Young Justice, and then when they get older, after like 3 movies or so, you have Damian Wayne come in. You can have some of the rivalry between Damian and Tim. People make people hate Damian, and then you slowly get them to enjoy the character, kind of like Eustace in the Prince Caspian versus the Silver Chair. You get them to hate him, and then eventually, you know, as the character gains his own merit in leading a team, and then joining him with the Super Sons, it'd be great. But that'd be a hard sell for DC because they don't like waiting for what they want. So, plus it's risky because, you know, sidekick movies aren't as popular. Of course, we wouldn't know because we've never done one, but, you know, we think that they're unpopular. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up at this point. I would love that because some of those stories are the reason why Tim Drake and Dick Grayson are my favorite characters. Those stories are just excellent. So no need to change them, you know. But Were there any other 50? I know we keep coming back. Were there any other 50th issues you wanted to talk about?
I just had to. I want to mention New Warriors number 50 and then Excalibur number 50. Both of those are teams that bulked up. They like added. I think at the end of New Warriors 50, they're like, what are we going to do with 14 new Warriors? Because originally the idea was they were going to make 2 new Warrior teams. And then with Excalibur, they ended up having like close to 8 characters where they had I think it was 8. They started out with 5, and by the end of it, they had at least 8 total. And Phoenix was in a bad way. Like she had fought this character called Necron, who was sort of an anti-Phoenix, and he was trying to absorb her powers. And it is great. Like it had built over like the past 5 years or so. They had built the story up. With the New Warriors, their story honestly stretched as far back as like the 70s with Nova. Some of the stuff that the writer built off of with regard to the climax that he got to.
Hey, someone just joined. Welcome.
So I can't recommend those things enough. Those particular issues enough. I'd say they're watershed moments for those particular books, as far as my own fandom goes. So all the ones that I've mentioned throughout, and I'll give you a quick rundown. So you just go look these up at your leisure. Fantastic Four, the original, number 50. Amazing Spider-Man, the original series, number 50. New Warriors, number 50. Excalibur, number 50. Green Lantern from the 90s, number 50. Flash from the 90s, number 50. Web of Spider-Man, number 50. Tales of the New Teen Titans, number 50. That was Donna Troy's wedding. I'm sure I mentioned it, but I'll just mention it again. And then I mentioned Batman number 50 from just last year. Not necessarily something you need to go get, but something that they it just represents how number 50 has become something of a milestone issue. And like we've talked about throughout, 50 is a big number. So we're thankful you guys have subscribed and you're part of our family collective here at Superhero Chat. So that's all we wanted to do was come on here and thank you guys for that. And so those are the issues that I felt like deserve some recognition, and that I personally like alongside some of the more classic ones.
Hey, someone else watching, welcome.
Yeah.
So it says shot out of a cannon. Conan, Hercules, and Samson locked in a 30 by 30 room. Who walks out? No weapons.
Is morality on?
I'd
either give it to Hercules or Samson, but not Conan.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he has mythical strength of any kind.
Okay. He's just very strong. Very manly.
Yeah. But if he doesn't have his sword, I don't think he stands a chance.
Yeah, so
honestly, I think he would be the first to go down.
Hercules and Samson. Well, Samson killed 5,000 soldiers with
1,000.
1,000. I'm making it bigger. It's like a fish story. He says no immorality or no morality.
Right.
I'm assuming that's what you meant. No morality.
Right. No morals, so there's no aversion to killing for the sake
of immortality.
Right.
Okay, no That's okay. I got it now. Sorry, it took me.
Well, Hercules was never immortal in the myths or the comics.
He was
comics.
Because he was half god.
Half god, huh?
He was a
demigod.
A demigod. That's the word I was looking for. Samson was just a man, just super strong.
Well, I mean, it was God given, so
sure. I don't know. I guess I'd lean Hercules.
I I guess ultimately I feel like I have to lean Samson because he was real.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, there's like, the historical record of him versus Hercules, which is
Okay.
just a myth, and then Conan's a fictional character as well. So I'm going to go Samson.
I'd say Hercules, mostly just because he's a demigod. Because I don't mind pretending, because they're not going to be in a locker room to begin with. So I don't mind pretending that they're real.
Yeah.
Hercules, mostly because he's a demigod. So, but then you just throw Captain Marvel in there. He says Shazam, and boom, he takes him out. Right,
because he would take Hercules' strength, right?
That's right.
And then he'd use the power of Zeus to whoop up on Zeus's little boy. Hey man, I remember seeing back in the day all these great old comics of Superman where he would like, I remember this one where he's like, wait, and you see Lois and Lana walking off with Samson and Hercules, and they're talking about how big those guys' muscles are compared to Superman and stuff. It's hilarious.
Bryson wants to know what our name is. I'm Jonathan. This is Lewis. I actually pointed the right way this time.
Excellent.
The camera.
So if I go like this, am I pointing at you?
No.
No. Oh, that's right. Because Booster and Beetle are next to each other.
That's right.
So I need to go, hey.
So Jonathan and Lewis. That's our names.
Even our initials are sold out to DC Comics, right? JL, Justice League.
That's right. Boom. We're both in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He's out near Raleigh. I'm out near Hickory. So I came from the Raleigh area, Wake Forest. We went to church together. That's how we knew. Hey, someone else is here. Welcome. We're just been talking about 50th anniversaries. You were about to say something, Lewis?
Yes. So I was in Walmart earlier today, and I know you were wanting to borrow my Justice League cartoon series. You can get the whole series at Walmart now for like $30.
The whole series?
The whole series.
So including Justice League Unlimited?
I'm fairly certain. I didn't pick it up to check, but I'm fairly certain. They also had the Superman animated series for $30, and that, as I'm willing to attest, is worth getting.
You're killing me, Smalls. Killing
me. They also had Batman Beyond for like, I think that was $32.
I bought season 1 for like $10.
Of Batman Beyond?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking Batman the Animated Series.
Animated series, right.
Well, they had, I got Adam West season 1 for $10 too.
Yeah, but these are the complete series. And they also had the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon from, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. It was the complete series, which was like 3 or 4 seasons. Which that was a pretty good show. Like the artwork is a little hard to get into at first, but once you get into it, it's great stories. And it might have been more seasons than that. I don't know. Anyway, it's worth checking out, and that was like $20. So or $30. So I've got to talk to my wife about buying me that.
That's right. Well, Justice League is my second favorite cartoon, and then Clone Wars would be the second. Or Clone Wars would be the first. Avatar: The Last Airbender would be number 3.
So you're telling me we need to do a top 10?
We had said that a long time ago and never did.
Yeah.
But I just spoiled it.
No, you didn't.
Although this is at the very end of a long video, so we'll see who actually makes it this far. And if you did, thank you for watching this long. We really appreciate it.
You win. What you win, we don't know, but win.
You win at life. That's right. Oh, no, we really appreciate it. That's why we wanted to do the 50th celebration, 50th subscriber. So we really appreciate everybody subscribing and watching all the videos. And so even through the move, still supporting. Because if you're new here, I just moved out near Hickory in North Carolina, and so me and Lewis weren't sure how it was all going to work. Because we used to do it all together, but now
we have this technology.
We're apart. There's something between us. But yeah, and I haven't been putting out as many videos because I've kind of just been not as enjoying some of the videos as much. So I'm trying to rethink how things go, and then some of the videos don't get watched as much. So I'm just trying to calculate which videos that people enjoy, and so I'm probably going to lean more toward the Yoda videos. So hopefully soon, most of what you're going to get is probably going to be Lewis and I doing these live chats or Yoda videos, and I'll probably make little videos commenting on stuff here and there, but that's kind of where I'm headed now. Just a lot of the individual comic issues don't really get watched much and stuff, and a lot of the bigger ones are about Yoda. And I'm not saying I won't review comic books anymore. It's just they're not as popular, so I'm trying to lean more toward the ones that are more popular. But we appreciate y'all hanging out with us and chatting with us.
It's been good, man. This is one of our longest videos.
It is one of our longest videos. I think maybe I don't know which one's the longest right now, but I forget which one. We've done so many live videos now. It's just like those are all pretty big. But you got anything to say, Lewis?
No, I'm glad to be a part of the process. Glad to be a resource as far as good comics and comic information and stuff. I like having the moniker of being a comic encyclopedia. It seems like a good use of my time to be able to put it to use and not just have it all locked in here. Right. And it threatens to close in on me on a regular basis. I don't know. You can see over my shoulder some of the boxes or whatever. And so, yeah. I mean, I've been collecting since, I guess it's, 28 years now. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'm gonna leave now because I need to go find something better to do with my life.
Yeah. Well, I look at all of my comic books and I'm like, man, I'm starting to catch up to Lewis. Like, what is going on?
Well, and that's really saying something because other than the cons we go to and the occasional stopping at the comic store, Play for Life Comics, where you too can play for life. Check it out if you're ever in Wake Forest. He's not on the comic book directory thing. I need to talk to him about that because I don't think it costs money to be on there. Like if you go to the free comic book day page that shows you like what's going to be offered this year, there's a find a comic book shop locator thing, and he's not listed on there. I thought that was weird, so I'm gonna have to talk to him whenever I get his name.
But he's a great guy, really nice. You go into a shop and he'll hang out with you and talk to you however long you want to, and just a really cool guy. He's got a small shop, kind of like this small channel, but we really enjoy hanging out with him. And
but he represents the good things about the
industry.
Yeah. Like small business owner who's just trying to help the fans out while making a living, so he's not going to give stuff away per se, but he does have good deals like Jonathan mentioned with the key issues, back issues and stuff like that. So,
well, he did just start off by collecting comic books himself, and then one day he got so many he just started buying collections and started his own store. It's like sweet.
And then he helped a store 20 minutes up the road fill in some of their back issues so that they can start a comic book shop. That just boggles my mind. I think he's doing it right, And I love that he has dollar bins. As my kid gets older and learns to read better, I'll be taking him in there to buy stuff from time to time.
Yeah. By the way, when you come visit me, Lewis, the guy that I go to, he's got $20, $30 comic bins. Actually, a good portion of them are 50 cents, but he's got some dollar bins too.
Remind me to.
It's a beautiful thing.
Books to look for.
Huh?
I said, remind me to hook you up with a list of books to look for.
That sounds like a great idea.
I'm sure you'll lose it, and then I'll be like, "Why did you lose my list?" And you'll be like, "It was too much work."
That's true. That's true. We got best gun-wielding characters in comics. Top 5 or 10. There's another.
All right, I'll write that down. I think Punisher is number 1.
Yeah. He's up there.
Characters.
I like Simon Biles. Although he,
I didn't like about him, but then, like once I got a hold of the character, I was like, okay, I can respect that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Dan Jurgens got him to where he didn't need the gun anymore, and then at the very end of the series, put him back on the gun.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, they may just ignore the fact that he regressed back to having the gun. But I love a Green Lantern with a gun. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a really great storyline to have him not trust the ring.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool storyline. So
yeah, because it just seems odd that everybody would just be like, all right, I've got this power ring, and I know it's going to work for me. Here we go.
Well, Bryson, do you count people like Batman who carried guns?
No, I think he's just talking. Okay, Batman.
Yes, he did.
When?
In the 40s. Oh! Deadshot, Deadpool, Deathstroke are cool too. I love Deathstroke.
Deadshot.
Deadshot.
The miniseries from the 80s is must reading if you're into Deadshot at all.
No, not Batman. Hey, Batman had a gun for a while. He killed people too.
We don't talk about that. That was Crisis on Infinite Earth.
I know this because I watched Comic Tropes video on every time Batman killed somebody. Like, there's a cover in the Detective Comics where I think it's Detective Comics, where he and Robin are like shooting machine guns. It's pretty awesome. That'd be a cool cover to have.
If you're into looking at covers, go to coverbrowser.com. They have a ton of stuff to look at.
It's kind of like MacGyver, isn't it? You know, the first episode, he picks up an AK-47 and starts shooting people. And then the next episode... I don't think
he was shooting people.
No.
Ground cover.
He was...
Ground cover.
He was shooting people.
No, he wasn't.
It was the very first episode. They didn't know where they were going with the character. And then the very next episode, he's anti-gun.
No, I think it was like the A-Team where he's shooting at stuff around people so it fell on them.
Sure.
Hey, man, I'm going to go back and watch it now just because you talked.
Hey, there's actually 3 episodes where he uses a gun. So.
Right, but in the other 2 episodes, he doesn't actually fire the gun.
No, one of them it does.
The first episode, he fires a gun. And then another
thanks, Bryson. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Yeah. And another way he holds it, but then he hits somebody with it or something.
So the first one he shoots it. He shoots it at people.
Right.
The second one, it's a some kind of handgun. He takes the clip out of the middle and uses it as a wrench.
Right.
And so that's using a gun. And and then the third one, it's a flashback to him as a kid. The reason why he doesn't use guns.
Okay, fair enough.
So he does shoot somebody in that one. It's his best friend.
Right. It's heartbreaking.
Yes, it is. That show is great. It's
amazing. My wife and I are watching a different show at the moment, but when we're done with that, I think I'm going to convince her to go back and let us watch MacGyver. We got to somewhere in season 4, and then the disc was messed up.
Yeah.
So.
It's the only show that beats the A-Team from the 80s in my mind.
And the A-Team is pretty amazing.
Yeah, hard to beat.
I think MacGyver wins in most people's mind just because it's more grounded in reality while being you know, a pure '80s adventure.
Right. Oh,
Whereas the A-Team was a little more over the top. Like MacGyver stuff was real. The '80s or the A-Team had some really weird contraptions.
yeah. The what's it called? Jason Todd's a good character with a gun. I think he's
Red Hood,
great.
yeah.
There was an awesome one-shot issue that was the Spider Punisher.
Yes,
that was excellent. But
so that'll get an honorable mention, I imagine. But
yeah,
the visual of that costume is still pretty awesome. So.
That was a great issue.
Bucky Cap.
Yeah, that's right. They use guns.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. It's about dinner time here at the my side of the world. So
your side of the world.
My side, how about that?
Oh me.
So,
well, again, thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't really be here without you guys. I mean, we would talk about it to ourselves, but you know, it's a lot of fun talking to you. You know, adding other people into the family, and you know, chatting about everything comics and superheroes and everything else that we talk about. Because
I wrote down the suggestions, and we're going to utilize them. So look for those videos in the coming.
And if you have any other suggestions, leave us a comment anywhere. We will find it. We will do something because, you know,
leave it below.
We're always
you can like us there, and you can leave us a message there.
We're always trying to come up with new ideas for videos, and so we'd love to do that. And again, I'm gonna focus more on Yoda videos than anything else, and then you know we'll do live chats and stuff most weeks, I'd say. So of course we're both busy, so it's hard to do it every week. But we've been pretty consistent, so I'll take it. You know, I like it. But we really
got two in this week, so we're being even more productive, right?
That's right. And I think we can say this is the longest video so far. So
yeah, probably
for 50 subs. You know, hard fought. But we really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and liking and commenting, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I guess we will catch you next time.
Peace.